A few days ago, I showed you guys some lesser known mods for Fallout 4 that are worth a download. As you can probably guess, today I'm back showing you some even less known mods. Actually, overall, the downloads on these are lower than the downloads on the mods I showed you last time, but I think all these are still worth a download. A few of these I actually have shown you guys in the past. Evidently, you didn't take my advice the first time, so hopefully you'll listen this time. Some of these mods just came out at really bad times, like a week when two other really high quality mods came out, so this one kind of got shut into the dust. But even a few of them actually have like very poorly designed Nexus pages. One's not really having a great description or a ton of images, but are great mods to download for your game. In addition, I actually have a fairly large announcement today. I actually started my own store. Yes, another YouTuber selling merch. I've done this here and there. I typically did it on Redbubble, but this time I'm actually using my own store, JuiceHead.net. On there, you're going to be able to find 3 t-shirt designs. One you've seen before, the Deathclaw shirt, but we also do have a Yao Guy shirt. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but whatever, and a synth shirt. Those two are new and totally unique, and in addition, if you guys want to check any of these guys out, to celebrate the launch, you're basically going to be able to get a 15% discount by using the discount code DAY1, that kind of spelt out. This is going to expire at midnight tomorrow, so if you want to use it, I would jump on that fairly quickly. And yeah, it's pretty much it. You'll probably hear me shout this out a few other times. It'll always be in the description from now on since I have my own website. But with that, let's just jump into the normal video. Starting things off, we have a mod called Remains of Settlements. This is a great example of a mod that has a pretty piss poor mod page, but actually is awesome and something a lot of people wanted in execution. What this is going to do is kind of make a lot of these settlements be overgrown and just have a lot of trash around them. This is something some people thought Fallout 4 would have by default. So now when you walk up to Red Rocket, that's the only settlement I'm going to show you here, but this affects many of these settlements in the game. But I wanted to keep some of them a surprise. Basically, again, as you walk up to Red Rocket, as you can see, things are going to be crashed down. It's like the building fell apart a little bit. There's going to be way more trees, way more foliage, things are just overgrown. I'm also using regrowth overhaul in the background, but you can kind of tell a difference as to which trees aren't supposed to be there. Unfortunately, all those trees are deletable and all that rubbish is deletable. And I really just think it makes settlement mode feel a little bit more natural. It makes more sense for these abandoned settlements to actually been overgrown or abandoned for some reason, like the roof of Red Rocket falling in. Some of the other settlements have similar things like this with a bunch of trees, but some of the coastal settlements actually have other interesting things like a bunch of shipping containers in the way and boats crash that you can delete also. It's a really cool mod and one that has very few downloads right now, but I actually really like this one. I think it might have a permanent spot in my load order. So we have Darkness of the Commonwealth. What this mod's going to do is add in 2 new ghoul-based NPCs that are pretty interesting and unique. The first of which you're seeing right now is basically going to be a ghoul that was wearing power armor. So imagine some soldier that maybe had power armor on, but then the bombs dropped and he was turned into a feral ghoul later on, but naturally he did still have that power armor on. In addition, there's this other 2-headed ghoul, which is very unique. The model for this one was actually made by another mod author, but this kind of made it into a full working NPC. Both of these are integrated into the level list of ghouls, but you're only going to see them very late into the game. The power armor one specifically, you're actually going to find around gunners and gunner camps. And when I say they're hard, these are seriously tough enemies. Like I think one of them has a legendary variant that only appears after you're level 80, but they take a lot to take down. As you can probably tell by the amount of times I'm dying to these two, they do pack a pretty powerful punch also. Either way, 2 really cool and interesting NPCs that I feel like didn't get enough attention, but still kind of are fairly lore friendly. This one's a little bit different. This is actually going to be a quest mod. This is going to be called the Underpassage. It was a mod that was available for Fallout New Vegas, but this mod author actually recreated it with a very similar story in Fallout 4. In Fallout New Vegas, it was called the Road Below. Basically, the premise of this is before the war, the government created a bunch of underground tunnels. And you're gonna go into those tunnels, have quests, have experiences, find some backstory behind them, and it's pretty exciting. It's fairly short, but also very interesting. The mod author definitely put a lot of work into this. It's also a very different setting. There's not many quests in Fallout 4 that actually take you into confined spaces, or at least spaces this confined. And if you're looking for something to do or a way to experience some of these other mods I'm showing you, this is going to be a great one to download. It's a lot of fun, and it definitely deserves more than the mere 900 downloads it does have. So this is a similar one. This is another quest mod that I showed you quite a while ago. This one's going to be Atom Cats. This is going to be part of the Settlement Story 3. There's actually a Settlement Story 1 and 2 also. But this is also really cool because it actually adds in a quest that is fully voiced, but in addition it adds in a new settlement with the Adam Cat's Garage, and it's also going to be by the same guy that made the Settlements Extended, so this is an extended version of that. But if all that wasn't enough, it also adds in a new power armor frame for you to use with any of your other power armors in Fallout 4. This really has a lot bang for its buck in my eyes, and I feel like it really just didn't get enough attention. There's really not that many mods adding in brand new settlements. A lot of them overhaul the existing ones, but this one's a very unique and different settlement, and something you also will like, it's very large. You could really build a sprawling city in Sim Settlements here if you're into that kind of thing. Then we do have Equilibrium. What this mod's going to do is rebalance a ton of the equipment that do fire bullets in Fallout 4. The general idea behind this one is even some of the lesser known weapons in Fallout 4 still deserve to be usable and not kind of confining you to only a few options at the mid to late game. So it's going to rebalance some of the base stats as well as more specifically actually some of the attachments you can get for some of those pieces of equipment. It's also going to make it so you're not as dependent on only legendary pieces of equipment. I know personally in my playthrough, once you get like one legendary piece of equipment, it kind of nullifies all the other options in the game. You recently had an update to the Radium R. As you can see by this image, it looks really cool. You could really see and just kind of visualize some of the changes this mod does make, and I feel like it does a great job at doing this on some of the other weapons. He's been consistently updating it. It actually has come out on Xbox One very recently, and I feel like these graphics make it very easy for a user to just instantly look at this and kind of understand what this mod's going to do. So we do have buildable barricades and guard posts. There's a lot of barricade mods out there right now, but I feel like what this one does is actually make things very simple and concise. It feels very vanilla. While some of the other ones like sandbag fortifications take a kind of modern military approach, this one actually seems like everything available would be available in vanilla Fallout 4. If you look at the default guard post options, there's only like 3 or 4 available, which is pretty lackluster, especially with the amount of emphasis put on settlement mode. What this mod is going to do is really expand that with all the different options I'm showing you in the background. I feel like they make sense for different settlements or what kind of theme you're going for. If you're going for a raider settlement, maybe use some of the more crude ones. If you're going for like a Minutemen settlement, you can use some of the more official or military looking ones. And all around, I feel like it really just expands the selection in a really nice, lore friendly way that a lot of you guys will hopefully enjoy. This is another one that's super minor, but I feel like should have just been in the base game of Fallout 4. That's going to be the Automatron decals and prints. What this is going to allow you to do is place little stickers or decals on all your different robot creations. These stickers are going to be of some of the major themes in Fallout 4 or like the factions available, like the Brotherhood, the Minutemen, but also like Vim, Nuka-Cola. This is going to be something you can place over your default paint job, so you can very easily create very true to life color customizations on these robots. The reason I think this is cool is there's so many other mods that add this in for your armors and your different equipment that you can use, but they're severely absent from robots. I personally kind of like making settlements based off these robots, so if you're aligning with a certain faction or want that settlement in particular to be aligned with that faction, you can label your different robots with that faction now, which I think is kind of cool, and it should have just been available before. Again, a very simple one, but one that I think a lot of you guys might enjoy. Last but not least, we do have the W Replacers. This is a mod that I've shouted out a few times, but again, I don't think you guys are listening because it doesn't have that many downloads at only 5,000, and I think it deserves a lot more. What this is going to allow you to do is actually replace the default Assault R that is in Fallout 4 with some of the aftermarket ones that are available. That being the Service R and Assault Carbine that you can get from Deadpool 2099. In addition, you could also get the R99, which was made by Cypher, and more or less what this will do is actually replace the default appearances of the Assault R in Fallout 4, so you never have to see that again, because it's a ugly, disgusting piece of equipment that I personally hate having in my game. If you're like me and you never want to see those pieces of equipment again, this is going to be a great mod to download. It totally replaces them, integrates them into the leveled list, and makes sure you never have to bear that thing again. Alright, I got a little ranty there, but that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. Again, if you guys do want to check out the store, that would be awesome. If you want to leave a like or a comment on this video, that would also be awesome. It helps with YouTube's promotion system. But alas, for our psychology fun fact of the day. This one's going to be another one about human memory, and this one's a little bit scary or spooky. I remember when I learned this, I was like, oh wow, that's a thing. So in reality, when you remember something, most of the time, or at least most of the time you re-remember something, you are reconstructing that memory. It's not the pure trace in your brain. So what that means is part of your memory is the actual event that happened. That's called the trace. So you're just reimagining and reliving those experiences as you had them originally. But oftentimes, as you recall things over and over again, that original trace is actually going to get modified as sorts by outside factors. So maybe something else somebody was talking to you about that was similar to that, it will actually get meshed in with that original memory, thus reconstructing your memory. From that point forward, you will now remember that reconstructed memory, not the original trace. It's pretty spooky because it could actually have some pretty serious effects depending on what you're talking about. Some of the more morbid examples of this are false eyewitness testimony. That's actually the second highest reason for false convictions in law. Take, for example, somebody that was raped. Maybe they only have a rough memory of them, maybe they're wearing a mask or something else to cover their face. There's been a few examples where the first time that victim does see the supposed perpetrator, they're like, it kind of looks like him. But then on subsequent times, since they remember his face originally, they're kind of combining it with that original memory. And then the second time they see them, they may be like, oh no, that was definitely him. This is a huge problem. There's actually a few psychologists out there that focus on these things in general to hopefully not get the wrong person convicted. It's a whole field of psychology that's expanding, but that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this one. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.